Okay, welcome back. So, in today's episode, we're going to go over an known issue with most Datsun owners is the fuel sending unit for the 280ZX. Now, for some of you that have the analog dashes, they're going to look similar to this. For those that have the digital dashes in 82 and 83, you're going to have a different style connector. So, the one on the right here that Duchess is in front of came out of that black 83 2+2. They already replaced their sending unit. This is what they took out. This thing is in pretty rough condition, and I can see why they had to replace it. There are some noticeable parts on here that are damaged. Obviously, you see that right there. So I was going to look at this to compare it to the one I bought at an estate sale a while back. This came out of an 82 turbo with the digital dash, and I confirmed that it does have the exact same connectors as this one, as this 83. So what I'm going to do today is that we're going to soak this in white vinegar or this cleaning vinegar, which is extremely concentrated. I'm going to dilute this 1 cup for two gallons plus some salt, and we're going to set that in there, and then we're going to pull it out and brush it gently. I have my weapons cleaning kit here. We're going to use this, and we're going to clean this as best as possible and remove this rust. But this one, it's in way better condition. Right, it came out of a running vehicle supposedly, but it's been up in storage for a while and it even has a tag. But yeah, and we're going to try to put this in my blue Datsun 280ZX so we can actually get it running again. That is the issue with my blue one. The fuel gauge stopped working, and then it's just stopped running. Everything else, it just won't stay running, and it's because of the fuel sending unit. So hopefully this one works. If not, I may have to get creative and send this one and the one that's currently in it to get rebuilt somehow. Yeah, they're just pretty rare. You can find them on eBay every now and then, but getting the right one. And if you have a digital dash, stock up on these while you can. They're just really hard to find, and you never know if you're going to need it. But look at this one. I mean, this is just pretty rough. So we're going to try to clean this up today, and I'll go through the steps on how to parts, basically 1 cup of this to 2 gallons of that with some salt, a half a cup of salt, and then the baking soda is going to be utilized to basically neutralize it. Once we're done, we're going to soak a cup of this for 2 gallons of water. That will neutralize it, and then it should be good to go. We're going to set it out to dry on the balcony. But that's what we got. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's get started. Okay, welcome back. So I went ahead and filled the bucket with 2 gallons of water. So the next step is we're going to add about a cup of salt, and then we're going to add about a cup, let's say a half a cup of salt, because we want this to be as powerful as possible. All right. Let's see. That's about right. I'm sure that'll work a bit more. All right. Let's add that to that. And then we're going to add a cup of this cleaning vinegar. I know you can use white vinegar. I'm using this. It's a little bit more potent. And just remember the ratio. I'm going to use a cup of this to 2 gallons. Normally it's a half a cup. It's a half a cup of this to 1 gallon, but we're going with a little more volume so I can cover the sitting unit. Good enough. Yeah, it smells pretty powerful. That smells pretty potent. And we're going to agitate it, and then we're going to submerge the sending unit. I do have some gloves. And we're going to let it soak for about 30 minutes. I'm going to check on it, and then we're going to take a brush to it and try to get that rust off. I'm going to use the old sending unit that really can't be saved just to see how strong this concoction is, because I really don't want to screw up the other sending unit that I have that I know is in pretty decent condition. Okay, I thoroughly agitated that salt in there. Oh, look at that. So this was an old stainless steel antenna off my old Yukon, and it's literally, it was kind of rusted. It's like it looks pretty clean now. This stuff probably is going to work. Alright. Now we're going to drop the sending unit in and let it do its thing. Here we go. And do wear gloves when you take it out. Let that soak for a bit. There we go. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay, so it's only been there a couple minutes, and already I see bubbles. It is literally, it's working. So I might have to check on it pretty frequently, like every 15 minutes. This is pretty strong, so once I see that rust starting to lift or come off, like it's literally coming off on its own, you can see it floating around, I'll take a brush to it and then we'll see just how well the stuff works. Okay, always wear gloves and in a well ventilated area, because this stuff's pretty potent. I can smell it. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes and I'm already seeing that the rust is literally just coming right off that. Look at that. I mean, it's literally just falling off. This may be a little stronger than I probably should take it out and just take a look at it. I want to make sure I don't get too aggressive. Yeah, look at that. It's doing its job. I mean, it should have literally fallen right off. I don't want it to fall completely off, but it's working. So let me see if I can brush some of this. Get a free hand. Let me get that brush. Yeah, look at that. That is just literally break up the rust. It's coming right off. We might let it soak a little longer, but it looks like it's actually working. Yeah, we'll let it soak a little longer. I'm going to let it soak for about an hour. And we'll check on it again. Now, this is the one that's pretty much not salvageable because it's really bad shape. The other one's what I'm concerned about, so this is like a test. I mean, if somebody can rebuild these, great. I mean, the connectors work. If somebody can weld that little piece on there, this may be salvageable. We'll see. I mean, considering how rare these parts are, I want to try to save as many of these as possible, because it's damn near impossible to find a good fuel sending unit for a turbo with a digital dash. I mean, they're just super rare just by numbers alone. So we'll check back in about an hour. Alright, it's been over an hour and let's see how it looks. Okay. I'm going to go and try to brush some of this off. The rust is literally just falling right off this thing. Get that brush. I mean, it is coming off. Now, there's differences in opinion about how long you have to let it soak. Yeah, so I do want to check on it every couple hours, but I might leave it in here. Yes, we got frogs out here. It was raining earlier. It does look pretty good. Yeah, it actually works. Look at that. It just comes right off. I mean, there's, like, the rust is literally just gone right over here. You saw the photos earlier. So it does work. You just gotta have patience. And then just scrub. I mean, considering how delicate these parts are, yeah, so I think it's worth restoring. I'll try this with the other one, but I'm going to leave this solvent out here, and I'm going to try it with the other one, but I'm probably going to rinse this off in the sink in a second, and then let it dry on the balcony, and then I'll throw the other one in tomorrow so I can observe it over the day. Yeah, some of these diodes are, oh, shit. Okay, well, there you go. I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit longer. It is working now. I mean, honestly, if I let it sit overnight, who knows? Some people say it takes a couple days to get all this stuff off, so maybe I should just leave it in until tomorrow and check it out tomorrow morning. So let's do that. We'll put a pin in this and we'll check tomorrow morning. Okay, it's morning, so let's go and take a look at what's left. Okay, so it's, I see a noticeable difference. The rust seems to be pretty much falling off. With a brush, I'm pretty sure I can remove the rest. I mean, I could let it sit a little bit longer. You know what? It's not a bad idea. I know it takes maybe a day or so, but I do see some change. Wow, this does work. Okay, I'll let it soak a little bit longer and scrub it a little bit. I'll check back in a couple hours. So far it's been soaking for 14 hours. Okay, so just a follow-up. I let this sit over the weekend. It's been in here more than 48 hours, and all I see is beautiful stainless, beautiful steel, no rust. So we're going to call this pretty much done. I'm just going to scrape off the rest of this. It's really did a good job. I mean, I'm really impressed with this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and then take a brush to it and loosen up all the rest and then let it dry. I may fill another bucket and add some baking soda to neutralize the acidity of this. So it won't continue to strip away anything else. And then I'll stick the other sending unit in here and let it soak for a day or so and go from there. Okay, so I scrubbed this with a just a little brush here, and you can see the difference. That rust just came off perfectly. And if I pull this out, I mean, I just scrubbed it while it was in the bucket, and look at this. I mean, you saw at the beginning of the video how bad this was. So this is a pretty good little fix to either restore or clean a rusty old unit. I mean, they're impossible to find, so you have no choice but to rebuild these parts, right? So this is an 83 280ZX Turbo fuel sending unit with a digital dash. There's a few components I'm obviously going to have to replace, but I can probably send this off to, there's a guy in San Antonio that Chris was talking about. We can rebuild these, and I'll see if he wants to tackle this one. I do have another sending unit that's in much better condition. It too has rust, and I'm going to give it the same treatment and let it soak for a day and a half, and then lightly brush off the rust, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I call this a win. So if you remember what I stated earlier in the video, this concoction does work. You just got to be careful and don't oversaturate it for too long. All right. All right. So I went ahead and took the other one out. I just put the better sending unit in the tank. I just put it in there like 2 minutes ago. So I'm gonna let this soak, but just so you have a good reference. That's it right now. All right. Looks pretty bad. We'll see how it looks, and I'll just check in 12 hours. How's that? Or maybe tomorrow after work. It's Sunday, so I'll let it soak overnight. I may check on it. If it's noticeable in the next couple hours, I'll definitely record that. But this is supposed to be a good setting unit. We'll see. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to add some baking soda. I'm going to fill the sink up with warm water, hot water. I'm going to apply the baking soda to neutralize what's still acidic, or just to neutralize what I started earlier. And then I'm going to let it hang dry, and then it shouldn't rust anymore. And then we'll send it off to get rebuilt. This is the last step for this sending unit. Again, I'm going to do this to the other one by 48 hours from now. So if you're wondering how much I'm using half a cup of baking soda for say about a gallon and a half, 2 gallons of water. So I'm gonna let that, I'm just gonna agitate it a little bit, and then we're gonna go from there. Let's flip this around a little bit. Shouldn't have been in that long, but it's already doing its job. Wow, that's pretty cool. That stuff's just flying right off. I did not know this process worked that well. I guess using the right ratio. Yeah, cool. Okay, so it's been about 15 hours since earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and check on the status of this. Wow, look at that. That is, the top looks pretty damn good. Pretty clean, actually. And I'm sure I can take a brush to this. It looks like it's moving along nicely. I will check on this tomorrow after work. And I think this thing's gonna be, yeah. I mean, that's definitely progress. This is cool. This may be a working sending unit. Alright. Alright, so I got off work. Let's see the results. It's been quite a bit, and it's looking pretty good. I'm going to start scrubbing on this a little bit here, see if we can get into that rust off. I'm going to gently brush it. Do this one-handed. You know what? Look at that. This comes right off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera down, just scrub it, and I'll show you the difference. This stuff just comes right off really easy. This is pretty damn cool. Let me see. Yeah. It's coming off. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to put this down so I can scrub it really good. I'll show you the result here in a second. Okay, so I scrubbed the crap out of this thing aggressively, and I got a lot of the rust off, but now I am concerned about inside here. There's some sludge, so I had to run. I couldn't find any pipe cleaners, so I used a zip tie for part of it, where the bends are in the neck. I did have some pull cable from a weapons cleaning kit that actually worked pretty well to get most of that crap out. So I just basically snaked it through, snaked it all through there, and I got most of it out. There's one little jam of sludge right here. I'm going to take that with a zip tie and punch through that. But other than that, this looks pretty good. A lot better than it did yesterday. This may be salvageable. I did take the basket out. That thing was clogged. It was nasty, and I did scrub it pretty good. It looks almost, I'm not gonna say new, but definitely salvageable and usable. This says it was good. It came on a running vehicle, so if anything, this is better than what I have in my blue 280ZX. So I might be able to get my 280ZX running again, finally. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I took it out of the bucket and I went ahead and soaked it in water with baking soda with like half cup, and then it's rust is just flying off. It's pretty cool. I did take the basket out and clean this pretty good. It had a lot of crap in there, so this thing was actually catching a lot of sediment, and there was a lot of stuff in there. But I think we're pretty much done here. I'm going to scrub what's left here in a bit, but I think we're going to end it for this video. The next video would be putting it into the Datsun, the blue 280ZX, and see if it actually fires up. All right. Like and subscribe. I'm out of here.